In the vast, star-studded expanse of the Minarian sector, where nebulae painted swirls of incandescent gas across the black canvas of space, a distress signal pulsed urgently. It was not a beacon engineered by technology, but a raw, primal scream that resonated through the cosmic winds, felt rather than heard by those sensitive to such frequencies. At the heart of this cry was the planet Yorac, a lush world known for its perilous beauty and the fearsome creature that dwelled within its dense jungles, the Zathrian beast. Standing 12 meters tall with scales harder than diamond and eyes that glowed like molten gold, the Zathrian was the apex predator of not just Yorac, but reputedly the entire galaxy. Tales of its savagery and the eerie, almost sentient gleam in its gaze had spread across star systems, deterring explorers and hunters alike. However, in recent times, something had gone amiss. The creature, which once roamed dominantly across the continents, was now seldom seen. Rumors among the local sentient species, the Yormites, a reptilian race with skin the color of rust and minds sharp as quantum computers, suggested that the Zathrian was dying. No one knew why, but its roars of agony that echoed through the forests were a clear testament to its suffering. Light years away, on a small blue planet known affectionately as Earth, Dr. Emily Santos adjusted the frequency on her deep space communication receiver. Emily, a seasoned veterinarian who had turned her focus to the interstellar after curing every curable disease on Earth's domestic animals, was always on the lookout for the next challenge. The signal, though alien in every conceivable way, tugged at her instincts. Something was desperately wrong, and it wasn't just any creature calling. It was something colossal. Compelled by a mix of curiosity and duty, Emily set her course for Yorac. Her ship, the Celestial Mender, was modest but equipped with the latest in both medical and astronomical technology, designed specifically for her unique field of veterinary science. As the stars blurred into lines of hyperlight travel, she reviewed everything known about the Zathrian. The more she read, the more the challenge seemed insurmountable. But excitement fluttered in her chest, a feeling she hadn't experienced since her first interplanetary save. Upon landing, she was met by a delegation of Yormites, who, despite their initial distrust, were driven by desperation. They led her through the verdant underbrush of Yorac's jungles, where the air was a steamy mix of alien fragrances and the distant roars of lesser creatures rippled through the air. But there was no mistaking. The journey deeper into Yorac's jungle was treacherous. The canopy above was a woven tapestry of alien flora that blotted out the sun, casting everything beneath in perpetual twilight. The air was thick, laden with the scent of exotic flowers and the musk of unseen animals. Every step was a battle against the clinging mud and the snaking roots that seemed almost alive, trying to trip the unwary. Dr. Emily Santos followed closely behind the Yormite guide, her boots squelching in the marshy ground. The Yormites moved with an eerie grace, their bodies swaying rhythmically, almost becoming one with the swaying fronds. Emily, however, had to focus intently to navigate the alien terrain. Her guide, Sylar, a tall Yormite with eyes like polished jade, occasionally looked back to make sure the human kept pace. As they ventured deeper, Sylar began to speak of the Zathrian in hushed tones, his voice blending with the whispers of the jungle. "The Zathrian was once our guardian," he explained, his forked tongue flickering out briefly. "It kept the balance of our world, ensuring that no species dominated over others. But now, with its waning strength, chaos has begun to take root." Emily listened intently, her mind racing with questions. What could afflict such a powerful creature? Virus? Poison? A genetic anomaly? Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden guttural roar that shook the trees around them. The sound was so powerful, so filled with pain, that it vibrated in her very bones. "They say it started when the sky stones fell," Sylar continued, his voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid of invoking some lurking dread. "Some believe these stones carried a sickness from the stars." Sky stones, meteorites. Emily's scientific mind ticked over this new information. It was possible, she mused, that extraterrestrial elements might have introduced some pathogen or environmental toxin. Her hand subconsciously went to her bag, where her tools and scanners lay ready. Finally, they arrived at a clearing where the trees had been flattened, creating a natural arena. At its center lay the Zathrian. It was a breathtaking sight. The creature's scales shimmered with an iridescent sheen, reflecting the faint light that filtered down from the canopy. Yet even from a distance, Emily could see the lesions marring the scales and the way its chest heaved with labored breaths. The beast's eyes, those legendary orbs of molten gold, were dull and listless, barely acknowledging their approach. As they drew closer, a low growl resonated through the air, more a plea than a threat. Emily set her bag down, her hands steady despite the awe and fear mingling in her heart. She looked into the eyes of the Zathrian, seeing not just a creature, but a living being in pain. "Let's see what we can do for you," she murmured, almost to herself, as she began unpacking her equipment. Siler and the other Yormites watched in silence, their expressions a mixture of hope and apprehension. This human, an outsider, was about to attempt what their own healers could not. Emily felt the weight of their gazes but pushed it aside, focusing solely on her patient. The challenge was immense, but so was her resolve. This was why she had come to the stars. Under the muted light filtering through Yormac's dense canopy, Dr. Emily Santos set up her portable diagnostic lab next to the slumbering form of the Zathrian. The creature's slow, shallow breaths were a constant reminder of the urgency of the situation. As Emily unpacked her tools, a biometric scanner, a suite of pathogen detectors, and a nanosampler, she felt the jungle's eerie quiet press in around her. The first task was to collect samples. The lesions on the Zathrian scales were unlike anything she had encountered. They were deep, oozing a viscous, luminescent fluid. Using her nanosampler, she carefully extracted a sample, ensuring not to cause further distress to the beast. The scanner hummed softly as it analyzed the composition, revealing a complex mix of foreign microorganisms, possibly viral, deeply integrated into the creature's biological structure. Next, Emily deployed a series of skin and blood tests, the results syncing instantly with her holographic interface. The data painted a grim picture. The Zathrian's immune system was in catastrophic decline, overwhelmed by an aggressive alien pathogen, likely introduced by the meteorites Siler mentioned. "Sky stones," Emily mused aloud, her mind racing through her extensive database of extraterrestrial phenomena. Could they have carried a dormant virus, awakened here on Yormac? Her thoughts were a whirlwind of medical theories and potential treatments, as she cross-referenced the Zathrian's symptoms with known interstellar diseases. As she worked, Siler and a few other Yormites maintained a respectful distance, their eyes wide and unblinking, watching every move. The gravity of their guardian's condition was not lost on them. The Zathrian was more than a creature. It was a symbol of their planet's strength and balance. With preliminary analyses complete, Emily began the more challenging task of developing a treatment. She isolated the most active components of the virus and started programming her nanobots to deliver targeted gene therapy. It was a delicate experimental process, adapting Earth technology to interact safely with alien biology. Each adjustment to the nanobot's programming had to be precise, as even a minor error could be fatal. As night deepened, turning the jungle into a chorus of alien nocturnes, Emily initiated the first stage of the treatment. She administered a sedative to ensure the Zathrian remained calm, then deployed the first batch of nanobots, watching anxiously as they disappeared beneath the creature's scaly skin. The hours ticked by as she monitored the Zathrian's vitals, looking for any sign of improvement or adverse reaction. Gradually, the beast's breathing steadied, becoming deeper and more regular. The lesions on its skin began to show signs of regression, the oozing fluid slowly receding. By dawn, a cautious optimism filled the air. The Yormites, who had spent the night in silent vigil, began to murmur among themselves. Siler approached Emily with a look of mixed awe and gratitude. "You are healing our guardian," he said in his sibilant voice, the relief palpable. Emily nodded, her face illuminated by the soft light of her screen. "It's just the beginning, Siler. The Zathrian is stable for now, but it will need ongoing treatment and observation. This virus is like nothing we've seen before." As the sun rose over Yormac, Casting golden light through the towering trees, Emily felt a profound connection to this alien world. She was far from home, yet right where she needed to be. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with challenges, but for the first time in a long while, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The galaxy was vast, filled with mysteries and wonders, and she was ready to face them all. As the new day dawned on Yorac, Emily watched the first rays of sunlight filter through the dense canopy, casting patterns of light and shadow across the Zathrian's now tranquil form. The beast's recovery overnight was a sign of hope, yet Emily knew the road ahead would be fraught with uncertainties. Her mind was already racing with the next steps, monitoring the Zathrian's progress, refining the treatment, and ensuring no new symptoms emerged. Meanwhile, the Yormites, stirred by the initial success of Emily's intervention, began to gather around the clearing in greater numbers. Their movements were gentle, almost reverential, as they observed the healing of their revered guardian. Sylar, now acting as an intermediary between Emily and his people, explained that the Zathrian was not merely a creature of physical might, but also a central figure in their mythology and culture. "The Zathrian guards the heart of Yorac," Sylar shared, his voice low and filled with a palpable sense of wonder. "It is said that within the deepest part of the jungle lies a source of immense power, ancient as the planet itself. The Zathrian protects this power from those who might misuse it." Intrigued by this revelation, Emily questioned further about this mysterious source. Sylar hesitated, his eyes scanning the surrounding forest as if seeking approval from unseen watchers. Finally, he consented to share more, under the condition of absolute secrecy and respect for their customs. "Long ago, our ancestors discovered that Yorac harbors a network of energy, vital and pure, flowing like the lifeblood of the planet. This energy is concentrated at a singular point, which we call the heart. The Zathrian is its keeper, ensuring the balance and purity of this energy remains undisturbed." The concept resonated with Emily. She was familiar with planetary energy theories from her studies, but had never encountered such a phenomenon firsthand. The scientific implications were enormous, potentially revolutionizing understanding of planetary ecosystems and their native species. As the Zathrian continued to stabilize, Emily decided to use the downtime to learn more about Yorac's ecosystem. Accompanied by Sylar, she embarked on exploratory walks around the vicinity, her scanners and equipment at the ready. The jungle was alive with a myriad of species, each uniquely adapted to their environment. Her recordings would later prove invaluable, but it was the subtle changes in the plant life as they neared the so-called heart of Yorac that caught her keen eye. The vegetation grew denser, the air thrummed with a palpable energy, and the colors of the flora seemed more vibrant. Sylar halted at the boundary of a particularly lush grove, beyond which lay an area shrouded in a gentle, luminous mist. "That is as close as we can go without the Zathrian's escort," he whispered, a hint of awe in his voice. "The energy is strongest there, and it affects all life. You feel it, yes?" Emily did feel it, an inexplicable vitality that seemed to buzz through her very cells. She took numerous readings, her scientific mind alight with possibilities. This energy could be key to fully understanding the Zathrian's condition and its rapid response to her treatments. Back at the camp, Emily continued her vigil over the Zathrian, now with a deeper understanding of the creature's significance to Yorac. Her respect for the beast deepened, not just as a patient, but as a crucial part of this world's fabric. As she plotted her next steps, she knew that the secret of the heart of Yorac would be central not only to the Zathrian's recovery, but potentially to the well-being of the entire planet. Her role had expanded from healer to guardian, a responsibility she was ready to embrace. As the Zathrian's condition improved steadily, Emily's curiosity about the heart of Yorac deepened. Her morning began with a routine check on the recovering beast, whose vitality seemed to echo the lush vibrancy of the surrounding jungle more each day. Satisfied with the progress, she turned her attention to the more enigmatic aspects of her mission. The early hours found her once again at the boundary of the luminous mist with Sylar, who seemed more willing to divulge the deeper secrets of his world. "The energy here," he began, his voice blending with the soft rustling of the leaves, is not just a source of life. It is memory, history, the essence of our planet. Our legends say it was bestowed by the cosmic ancients to foster harmony across the galaxy. Emily's scientific mind wrestled with the mystical explanations, trying to forge a link between this supposed ancient energy and the tangible effects it had on the ecosystem. With Siler's permission, she set up environmental sensors along the periphery of the mist, hoping to capture data that could lend a scientific framework to the Yormites' beliefs. As the sun climbed higher, they ventured back to the Zathrian, who was now strong enough to raise its massive head and acknowledge their presence with a deep, resonant growl that seemed less threatening and more communicative. Emily felt a surge of professional pride mixed with a profound connection to this alien life form. "Your recovery is a testament to your strength and the mysteries of your home," she spoke to the Zathrian, her voice soft but filled with conviction. Later that day, back at her makeshift lab, Emily reviewed the data collected near the heart. The readings were off the charts. Fluctuations in electromagnetic fields, unusual subatomic particles, and a subtle but distinct pattern that suggested a sort of rhythmic pulsing of energy. This was no ordinary planetary feature. It was as dynamic and active as any living organism. Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden commotion outside her tent. Stepping out, she saw a group of Yormites gathered around a holographic display that Siler had set up. It showed ancient carvings and texts, holographically restored to their pristine form. The images depicted celestial beings bestowing the heart's energy upon Yorac, alongside the Zathrian standing guard. Before the Zathrian became ill, it could commune with the heart directly, Siler explained, noticing Emily's interest. It would spend hours in silent communion, basking in the glow of the heart. We believe this communion helped maintain not just the Zathrian's health, but the equilibrium of our entire ecosystem. This revelation sparked a new idea in Emily. If the Zathrian's health was linked to its direct interaction with the heart, perhaps facilitating such a communion again could accelerate its recovery and restore balance to Yorac. But first, she needed to understand the nature of this communion and whether her presence as an outsider would be permissible or even safe. Determined to see this through, Emily proposed a plan to the Yormite Council. "With your guidance, and if the Zathrian is willing, I would like to observe this communion. Understanding it could be key to ensuring no future recurrences of this ailment." The council convened in deep discussion, their dialect flowing in quick, sibilant whispers. After what felt like an eternity, they agreed, setting conditions for her participation and observation. Emily was to be a silent observer, interfering in no way with the natural process. As night fell over Yorac, preparations were made. The journey to the heart would take place under the stars, guided by the Zathrian itself, now noticeably more robust and alert. Emily felt a mix of anticipation and solemnity as she readied her equipment, aware she was about to witness something few outsiders had ever seen. This was more than a scientific expedition. It was a step into the profound depths of Yormac's ancient mysteries. Under the ghostly glow of Yormac's twin moons, Emily and a small escort of Yormites, led by the now revitalized Zathrian, embarked on their nocturnal journey towards the enigmatic heart of the planet. The jungle at night was a symphony of alien sounds, from the haunting calls of nocturnal predators to the soft rhythmic pulsing of bioluminescent plants. Each step they took seemed to resonate with an ancient energy, as if the land itself was aware of their sacred mission. As they moved closer to the source of the heart's energy, the air grew thick with a palpable power, making Emily's skin tingle with every breath she took. The flora around them changed too. The trees grew taller and more regal, their trunks twisted in spirals, their leaves shimmering with a silver sheen under the moonlight. This part of the jungle felt untouched, preserved by some unspoken pact among the creatures who dared not venture near. The Zathrian led with a solemn grace, its massive form gliding silently over the underbrush. Its golden eyes cast back occasionally to ensure its followers were keeping pace. Emily noticed the creature's demeanor change as they neared the heart. It was as if it were coming home after a long and painful exile. Finally, They reached a clearing where the air vibrated with unseen energy. In the center, veiled by a luminous mist, was the heart of Yorac, a glowing orb suspended in the air, its surface swirling with a mesmerizing pattern of lights and colors. The sight was breathtaking, transcending Emily's wildest scientific conjectures. It was as if they were standing before the beating heart of the planet itself. Without a sound, the Zathrian approached the heart, its body language shifting to one of deep reverence. The creature lowered its massive head before the orb, and the light from the heart intensified, enveloping both in a radiant halo. Emily, holding her breath, watched as waves of energy flowed from the heart into the Zathrian, its scales beginning to glow with renewed vigor. The Yormites, including Sylar, knelt at the perimeter of the clearing, their heads bowed in what Emily recognized as a ritualistic display of respect and subservience. She remained standing, too captivated by the scene to remember to bow, her eyes fixed on the interaction between the Zathrian and the heart. For several minutes the clearing was silent except for the soft hum of energy transfer. Then the Zathrian raised its head, let out a low, resonant sound that filled the air, a sound of health and affirmation. The glow around it began to fade, and the orb's swirling colors settled into a steady pulse. As the communion ended, the Zathrian turned towards Emily and the others, its gaze lingering on Emily with an intelligence that spoke of gratitude and a profound connection. It was a moment of mutual recognition, a silent acknowledgement of her role in its healing, and perhaps an acceptance of her presence on Yorac. The journey back to the camp was quiet, each member of the party lost in thought over what they had witnessed. Emily, in particular, was deep in thought, processing the night's revelations. She realized that what she had seen was a phenomenal display of bioenergetic exchange, something that could redefine the understanding of life forces in the galaxy. Back at her tent, Emily couldn't sleep. She drafted her observations, her mind alight with ideas on how to document this phenomenon scientifically, without infringing on the sacredness of what she had witnessed. This was not just about curing a galactic beast anymore. It was about bridging the gap between science and the profound mysteries of life energy that the Yormites had revered for eons. As dawn crept over the horizon, Emily knew her work on Yorac was far from done. The healing of the Zathrian was just the beginning of a deeper exploration into the cosmic balance of life and energy, a venture that she was now uniquely positioned to lead. With dawn breaking over Yorac, the world bathed in a soft golden light that seemed to imbue everything with a mystical glow, Emily set out to explore deeper into the implications of her discoveries. The communion between the Zathrian and the heart had revealed a complex network of energy, a planetary system that was both life-sustaining and sentient in its way. Her scientific mind buzzed with the potential insights this could offer into similar phenomena across the galaxy. The day was spent gathering detailed environmental readings around the area where the communion had taken place. Emily's instruments, sophisticated as they were, struggled to fully capture the nuances of the energy fields. The data, however, was compelling, showing fluctuations that closely mirrored biological processes, like the synaptic firing of nerves in a brain. Intent on understanding the scope of this energy network, Emily proposed a more extensive survey of Yormac's lands. With Sylar as her guide and the cautious approval of the Yormite Council, they set out on a journey that would take them across various terrains of the planet, from the dense, vibrant jungles to the stark beauty of its barren highlands. As they traveled, Emily noticed that the flora and fauna changed in tandem with the proximity to the energy streams she now referred to as the veins of the planet. Near these streams, life was more vibrant and diverse, suggesting a symbiotic relationship with the energy flowing from the heart. In the highlands, they encountered a group of Yormite scholars at an ancient observatory, a structure built around a massive stone that pulsed with faint energy. The scholars were guardians of Yormac's historical records and keen astronomers who studied the cosmic forces that influenced their planet. "These stones are nodes," one elder scholar explained, his eyes twinkling with excitement as he shared his knowledge with Emily. "They connect the heart's energy with the cosmos. Our ancestors built this observatory to study that connection, believing it influenced not only our planet, but the alignment of stars themselves." This revelation was a breakthrough for Emily. It wasn't just the internal ecosystem of Yorac that was influenced by the heart, but potentially its interstellar environment as well. Her discussions with the scholars led to a collaborative effort to align their astronomical data with her environmental readings, creating a multidimensional map of celestial and terrestrial energy patterns. Throughout their expedition, Emily documented the effects of the veins on local ecosystems, observing how minor disruptions in these energy flows seemed to cause ecological imbalances. This underscored the critical role the Zathrian played as a guardian, not merely a predator, but a keeper of ecological stability. Upon returning to the camp, armed with data and newfound alliances with Yormite scholars, Emily set up a remote monitoring station to continue observing the energy flows and ecological responses. The setup was intricate, designed to feed real-time data back to her main lab on Earth, where it could be analyzed further and compared with known galactic phenomena. That night, as she sat reviewing the day's findings, Emily felt a deep sense of purpose. Her mission had evolved from a medical rescue to a profound environmental study that might well redefine human understanding of planetary life systems. Her thoughts were interrupted by a gentle rumbling through the ground, a reminder that Yorac was alive in more ways than one. Smiling, Emily looked up at the stars, feeling more connected to the cosmos than ever. Her work here was just beginning, and each discovery was a step closer to unveiling the universal mysteries of life energy. Emily's work on Yorac had drawn the attention of the interstellar scientific community. Her findings about the planet's unique energy network and its impact on both terrestrial and celestial systems were revolutionary, suggesting a symbiotic relationship between a planet and the cosmos that had never been documented before. With this increased interest came additional resources and a team of experts eager to explore the implications of her discoveries. Among the new arrivals was Dr. Jun Park, a theoretical physicist known for his work on quantum entanglements in deep space. Jun was particularly intrigued by Emily's descriptions of the energy nodes and their potential connection to cosmic phenomena. Together, they developed a series of experiments designed to probe deeper into the quantum interactions at these nodes. Their first task was to measure the quantum fluctuations around the nodes during different celestial alignments. Using a newly arrived set of quantum sensors, they placed these around one of the larger nodes, situated on a high plateau overlooking the jungle. The setup allowed them to capture real-time data during the rise of Yorac's twin moons, an event believed by the Yormites to enhance the planet's energy flow. As the moons ascended, casting a silvery light over the plateau, the instruments began to register off-scale readings. The energy pulsated in a rhythmic pattern, almost like a heartbeat, syncing perfectly with the celestial dance above. Jun, watching the data stream in, was astounded. "It's like the planet is directly conversing with the stars," he remarked, his voice a mix of wonder and scientific fervor. With these readings, Emily and Jun hypothesized that the energy nodes might be acting as quantum gates, points where the fabric of space-time was thin enough to allow for unusual interactions between cosmic and planetary energies. This theory, if proven, could explain not only the ecological balance of Yorac, but potentially offer insights into quantum communications across distances that had previously been unimaginable. Encouraged by these findings, Emily decided to take the research further by attempting to synchronize the data from Yorac with similar quantum events recorded across other planets in the galaxy. This massive undertaking involved coordinating with several off-world observatories, a task made possible by the galaxy-wide respect her work had earned. Meanwhile, life on Yorac continued to flourish under the stabilizing influence of the reinvigorated Zathrian. Observing the creature roam freely, its health fully restored, was a daily reminder of the planet's resilience and the success of her initial mission. The Zathrian had become more than a subject of her study. It was now a symbol of the potential harmony between science and nature. One evening, as Yorac's sky blazed with the light of a passing comet, Emily and her team gathered at the observatory with the Yormite scholars. They watched as the comet's path seemed to align perfectly with the energy nodes, enhancing the planetary glow. It was a moment of cosmic beauty, a testament to the interconnectedness of all things in the universe. June turned to Emily, his eyes alight with excitement. "We're not just observing phenomena, we're witnessing a symphony. Every element from the smallest particle to the largest celestial body is part of this cosmic orchestra." As the night deepened, the comet continued its journey across the sky, its tail flickering with colors that mirrored the glowing heart of Yorac below. Emily felt a profound connection to the universe, a sense that her journey on this vibrant planet was contributing a vital piece to the puzzle of the cosmos. The harmony between Yorac and the stars was a melody she had only begun to decipher, and she knew her work here was far from over. Each discovery was a note in the greater symphony of the galaxy, and she was eager to see where the music would lead her next. As the comet faded into the depths of space, leaving behind a trail of cosmic dust that seemed to sparkle against the dark canvas of the sky, Emily's project entered a new phase. The phenomenon had provided a unique opportunity to observe direct interactions between celestial events and Yorac's energy nodes. The data collected was more intricate than anything Emily had ever seen, weaving a complex tapestry of quantum entanglements and energy exchanges that spanned the void of space. Inspired by these observations, Emily and Dr. Jun Park devised a groundbreaking experiment. They planned to use the energy nodes as relay points for a quantum entanglement communication test, aiming to transmit information instantaneously across vast distances of space, a concept once relegated to theoretical physics, and now teetering on the brink of practical application. The preparations for the experiment were meticulous. Emily worked closely with Yorac engineers and Earth's finest quantum physicists, who had arrived to assist in what was being hailed as one of the most significant scientific undertakings of the century. They constructed a series of quantum transceivers around the primary node, devices capable of manipulating and measuring the entangled particles generated by the node's energy. Meanwhile, the Zathrian, now fully integrated back into its role as guardian, seemed almost aware of the scientific breakthroughs happening around it. It often lingered near the research sites, its presence comforting to the team. Emily wondered if the creature understood on some level that their work sought to protect its home, just as it protected the heart of Yorac. On the day of the experiment, the team gathered around the main node. The air was charged with anticipation as June initiated the sequence that would hopefully transmit a set of encoded data to a sister station orbiting a distant planet in the Manarian sector. The quantum transceivers hummed to life, harnessing the energy pulsing from the node and focusing it into a beam of entangled particles. The moments that followed were tense, the team holding their breath as they awaited confirmation from the orbital station. Seconds stretched into minutes, and just as the tension became almost unbearable, the signal came through. The data had been received, intact and instantaneously, confirming the success of their experiment. The implications were staggering. This breakthrough not only opened up new possibilities for communication across the galaxy, but also hinted at a more profound mystery. The quantum network facilitated by the energy nodes might be a natural feature of the universe, a fundamental fabric woven into the cosmos itself. Emboldened by this success, Emily proposed extending their research to explore whether these quantum entanglements could influence or be influenced by other forms of cosmic phenomena, such as black holes or neutron stars. Her theory was that if they could understand and map these interactions, they might begin to unlock the secrets of the universe's underlying structure. The days that followed were filled with planning and discussions, as new theories and ideas bubbled up within the team. Emily felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that their work was not only helping to preserve Yorac, but also pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. One evening, as the sky turned a deep shade of twilight, Emily stood beside the Zathrian, watching the stars begin to twinkle into existence. She shared a quiet moment with the creature, a mutual acknowledgement of the journey they had undertaken together. "This is just the beginning," she whispered to the Zathrian, who responded with a gentle nudge of its head against her shoulder. Together, they looked up at the stars, the threads of the universe seemingly drawing closer, ready to reveal their secrets to those willing to listen and learn. The success of the quantum communication experiment marked a new era in interstellar science, with Emily at the forefront. The team expanded, drawing experts from various fields, astrophysicists, quantum mechanics, biologists, and even philosophers. Each brought a unique perspective to the unraveling mysteries of Yorac's energy lattice and its connection to the cosmos. With the establishment of a permanent research base near the heart, Emily led the efforts to deepen their understanding of the quantum lattice. The next phase involved mapping the energy flows between Yorac and other celestial bodies within the galaxy. Intricate sensors and satellites were set up, creating a vast network that could track energy patterns and their effects on interstellar and planetary environments. During this intensive period of research, Emily noticed a series of anomalies in the energy flow that seemed to coincide with specific galactic alignments. Intrigued, she hypothesized that these alignments might be enhancing or disrupting the quantum lattice in previously unnoticed ways. To test this, she organized a series of synchronized observations across multiple planets during the next predicted alignment. As the date of the alignment approached, the atmosphere at the base was electric with anticipation. Teams at each node were ready to record every fluctuation, every whisper of change in the quantum field. Emily coordinated the efforts from Yorac, her gaze often drifting to the serene figure of the Zathrian, which had taken to watching over the base from a nearby ridge. The alignment occurred, and the data flooded in, a symphony of numbers, graphs, and readings that painted a breathtaking picture of interconnectedness. The energy flows intensified, forming a visible web of light that danced across their screens, linking Yorac with distant worlds in a dazzling display of cosmic unity. Analyzing the data, Emily and her team discovered a pattern, a repetitive sequence that appeared to act as a sort of cosmic code or signal. This discovery suggested that the quantum lattice was not just a natural phenomenon, but possibly a constructed one, an ancient and sophisticated network designed for purposes lost to time. Driven by this revelation, Emily proposed a daring new theory. The lattice might be a galactic infrastructure, perhaps built by an ancient civilization to facilitate energy transfer or communication across the galaxy. The implications were profound, indicating that they were on the brink of uncovering a civilization whose technological advancements had reached levels beyond current understanding. The research took on new dimensions, exploring not only the scientific, but also the historical and archaeological aspects. Teams were dispatched to other planets, where similar nodes were suspected, searching for clues or artifacts that might shed light on the creators of the lattice. As these explorations continued, Emily often found herself beside the Zathrian, sharing her thoughts with the creature. She felt a deep bond, not just with the Zathrian, but with Yorac itself, a planet that had taught her so much about the universe and her place within it. One clear night, as she stood watching the stars with the Zathrian, a sudden surge of energy pulsed through the ground beneath them. The heart glowed brightly, and a faint, almost imperceptible hum filled the air, an echo of the galaxy singing through the veins of Yorac. In that moment, Emily felt a profound sense of unity with the cosmos. She realized that her journey was not just about scientific discovery, but also about understanding the deeper connections that bind all things in the universe. The mysteries of Yorac were far from solved, but each question answered led to new wonders, each discovery a doorway to greater mysteries beyond. As she looked up at the stars, Emily knew her adventure was far from over. The universe had many more secrets to reveal, and she was more than ready to chase them across the stars.